Houston Dash, we're back to reality. After 6 unbeaten streak, that end this past weekend. We'll talk about that and other heartbreaking news as well. I think this is the first time we're actually sad in quite a while. But welcome back to everyone to the Orange and Blueprints podcast on the Bayou City Soccer Network. We're here as your host, Manny Olivares. Try to be positive, try to be excited, but it's kind of hard to be. But I'm not alone in this sadness. We got Diego. He's already sad with his high def camera. Got his high def camera on this sadness episode.
Maggie, no! Uh, After 6 straight games of good news, it was bound to happen eventually, right, Manny?
Yeah, I think it was expected. I think it was no team. It's very hard even for Orlando, who was hot, to go unbeaten
Mhm.
the whole season. And that
Yeah.
was a huge that was a huge task. But now the for for the Dash to go this far, it was really good. It was a good. I
Mhm.
think especially, but I think like you and me mentioned, we didn't expect it to get against this Utah team. But it is what it is.
We were
That's
expecting a win, but I mean, it's kind of like you have to think about it. And Fabrice mentioned this, like in the pregame press conference today. Any
Mhm.
team can win. No team is out of the game, and I think he talked a little bit about it, but I mean, these kinds of streaks it can label a lot of complacency and can kind of get players into bad habits. And I think, yes, it's always bad to get a loss, but I think it's better to get a loss like this
Mhm.
at this point in the season instead of 2 games left. You're pushing for the playoffs. I think if done correctly, this can be taken as such a positive thing.
Yeah, I think it's very it's a very good. I think what the Dash has accomplished, it was very positive. I think if the Dash wasn't did this much this part of the season, I feel like we didn't have any high hopes for the rest of the season. I think we'd be just here reviewing games and then see, okay, what's the next game to follow. But it actually got hope. It got the fan base on board to be with it, be more involved with the team. But it also showed, a good resilience and good coaching change. But uh, let's get into this game. I know it was a hard watch for people who are Dash fans, but I think it just showed, how resilient this Utah and actually the NWSL league is. You know, going to this match, Houston Dash facing the bottom team of the table, and they're still the bottom team of the table despite this win against the Utah Royals. The first goal came real instantly in the 4th minute by a corner by Cahill Rai. It was kind of awkward how the goal went in. Tanaka hit it, and then Paige Monaghan hit it. Then it was like, and then at the end of the line, Kaylee Rail headed it in with a little nudge to give her the credit for the goal. It was really confused who made the goal, but it just showed how maybe overconfident the Dash was in this set piece. I feel like they didn't feel like the Utah had a threat. But I think as the game rolled on, you saw Tanaka, even Paige Monahan. I think she was very dangerous in the front line. I think she deserved player of the match, uh, but she didn't. But overall, but I think she was very dangerous. But I think the Dash really contained to other people as well. But of course, before
Mhm.
the end of the half end, Paige Monahan scored a outside of the box goal to seal the Utah Royals the victory, and nothing really happened in the second half. I feel like the game, of course, changed when Lisa Boateng came for her debut on the 60th minute. The team looked more lively. The team looked more attacking threat. The team looked more like the old Dash self. But it took that a while for it to come, and I wish that came even the commentary were saying, I wish the team played like that in the freaking half, in the beginning half, because if it didn't came like that, I feel like we were looking at a different scoreline. I think maybe not 2-0, but I think it was just maybe small mistakes, not huge. I think they were not huge. I think errors or giveaway, but I think overall, Diego, your thoughts on this game, on the performance overall?
I mean, I Fabrice mentioned this in the press conference, reflecting a little bit about kind of what went wrong. I think performance wise, I don't really think it was anything to panic about. I think we kind of performed in a very similar way as we have as of late, like the same kind of style. I think it was a tactical thing where it just like we possibly just didn't put
Mm,
the right lineup in front for a team like Utah, and I mean they capitalized. You mentioned that set piece awkward goal that kind of just like it's a goal that you hate to see go in, but I mean that's those kinds of finishes are because of good execution, good strategy, good tactics. I mean, there's definitely a lot of elements that go into like a good performance, and I think it's more of a case of like Utah really putting in that extra mile, go on the tactical side of things. And by no means am I calling Fabrice a bad manager or a bad tactician just because he made the wrong choices in this game. I think
mm,
personally, from my experience seeing his style kind of develop and grow, I think he's a great tactician. I think he's
mhm.
shaping up to be a great coach. I just think he made the wrong choices, and so that put players in awkward positions. Like, and Utah was able to capitalize on that. I think breaking down some of the individual performances, I love how you mentioned Lisa Boateng getting her debut because I think she was phenomenal. I think the energy that she brought and alleviating uh, a lot of Avery's pressure when it comes to on the ball movement. I thought that was incredible. I appreciated the fact that I mean, Clarissa Larissi and the forwards were getting into goal scoring opportunities.
Mhm.
It was just kind of like not their night when it comes to finishing those chances, which I mean, it's fine. I mean, yes, does it cost us the 3 points at the end of the game? Probably. But you have to look at it on a little bit of a higher level of think of the first half of the season
Mhm.
where you didn't really see those kinds of opportunities at all. And so now that we have the opportunities, we just have to have faith in Clarissa Larissi and Messiah Bright to really nail those goals in because that's the difference between the San Diego game and the Utah game. It's not really, yes, tactics play a big role in this, but if you get that one goal, you'll get the second and you get the third, and that's exactly what happened in San Diego, and that's exactly what didn't happen in Utah.
Yeah. I think it was also, a mix of a lot of things. I think maybe overconfidence. I think Fabrice mentioned that as well. I think in today's press conference, overconfidence. Sometimes overconfidence could play a factor. You go to 6 games unbeaten against your strong San Diego Wave, maybe not in their best performance, but that gives you confidence, and sometimes that confidence can bite you in the back if you're not careful with it. But confidence, you want confidence going into games, but you want to be overconfident. I think maybe the last facing the last team on the table, you think you can just steamroll them without putting in effort. But like this, like I think you see in all the league, if you any team can be anyone, like just like the Premier League, this is the Premier League of women's soccer. Any team can be anyone on any given day, and you see that pay in front. But also, I think maybe not speaking on defensive. I think you were mentioning a little bit about the offensive awkwardness on that set piece. This past even before the game started, the Dash announced roster changes. And going into that, of course, Ramona Bachman terminating her contract, giving us with Anna Helferty, a defender, for a short-term contract. But also, I think the biggest two surprises was, of course, Sophia Schmidt having a knee surgery that put her that took her out of the rest of the season, and also as well, not only her, but uh, Houston Dash traded Natalie Jacobs
Mm-hmm.
for Malia Berkeley to the from the North Carolina Courage just I was it 1 or 2 days before this game, and so
Hmm.
and Malia Berkeley was not available for this game, of course, because in the process of trading and everything, nor Natalie Jacobs for North Carolina Courage. How do you think this? I think I don't want to overthink. You think? I think a lot of people were sad that Natalie Jacobs left before this game and not
Hmm.
saying goodbye to her. But I think did her presence was missing in this game? Maybe that's why the Dash were not filled themselves, or we were just overthinking it.
No, I think there's a I think there's different levels to this. I Natalie Jacobs was definitely a staple within the Houston community in growing women's soccer, but on top of that, growing soccer as a whole, I think um, you take a player like that with leadership, with talent, with grit, with work ethic, and you kind of are thinking to yourself, why would you let a player of that caliber go? And then you kind of think to yourself, um, what are you getting in return when it comes to this? And you're getting um, Malia Berkeley, which by far a better suited defender when it comes to Fabrice's system of playing out the back,
Yeah.
being a little more technical. I felt like Malia's a little better on the ball than Nat is. I feel like Nat's better slightly, I would say, with transitional play. So when we're kind of taking these fine-tuned details, I think that's really where you're gonna get into like the why was this move made, because yes, it's a huge loss for the Dash, but I think genuinely this is going to be, I mean, a move that you have to make if you want to contend for a playoff push, because this is what decides it: a center back that slightly plays better to your system, an attacker that slightly gets in better positions, a
Mhm.
midfielder that slightly takes the better touch on the ball to evade the one or two defenders in that midfield. I think those slight tactical and skill and like just everything, those slight adjustments, that's what gets you into the playoffs. And I think definitely we're gonna have to wait and see, because obviously Millie hasn't played for us. So but I mean, to answer your question, yeah, Nat, that's a pretty big loss, but I think it's not a heartbreak. It's not a should it be a heartbreaker? That's what I would say.
Yeah, I think we might feel the heartbreak right now just because of the result of the game. I think many people or many fans or many people or many some other media outlets would think Nat Jacobs leaving, especially on this game. Maybe if she was in there, maybe the result could go the other way for the Dash. It could have, but I think we're just picking on ifs. And I think that's not what Angela, I think, has shown during this whole time. Angela and Fabrice, they're building for today and for the future. I think Malia Berkeley is younger than Natalie Jacobs, has more experience in the NWSL, has more regards in the NWSL, has
Mhm.
won, has helped, the courage to won 2 Challenge Cups, and back-to-back postseasons, campaigns. So she is in a team that has been in good ups despite maybe a lot of coaching changes and maybe some uh, I think just backlash from the things that's happening in the league from the North Carolina Courage, but yet she has been a great asset to them, and now she has
Mhm.
become for that. I think if she was available for this game, I think it would have been a light less blow. I think if she was available and came on to play, but it's about it's ifs and buts. I think a lot of people feel that way, but I think it's a good trade, a good thing. I think it's just sad, that I really wish it was done sooner so that Malia Barkley was
Yeah.
in the camp earlier. But it is what it is. We just
Manny,
go ahead.
I have a question for you. We're talking about kind of a little bit about how the game could have really been altered, or
Yeah.
something when it comes to Malia's presence. But I want to kind of ask you a little bit of a question of like, do you think this is a panic button loss for the Dash?
Not really. I think so. I think I could go. You could look at it both ways. Uh, for some it could because this is I think before the break, you saw Utah and Chicago as your winnable games. like on paper, that was the games that you were uh winnable. That it's, you know, that when you that's the easiest 6 points you could get. But I think as the season went on and as the second half went on, you saw Utah got a different stride. We're gonna talk about Chicago that have a different stride. Even Dash had a different stride. You know, they're playing, they're playing in a different way than they can. But it's really interesting how I think when results change, perspectives change as well. I think looking into the last 6 games is really tough. You're really facing the top end of the table, nothing but top end, and you really wish you gained those 3 points to feel more comfortable against with the teams you got faced right now. Orlando, KC, Spirit, Thorns. You know, so it's the only easy game out of those of the rest of your schedule is then one coming up in Chicago, and you're 3 points off the playoff line. You're like, if only you got the 3 points or got a draw from that game, you're like, I'll feel a little bit better. But I think it should not be a panic. It's more like a back to reality. Okay, we're not this unbeatable team. We're not this Orlando side that can't take the game to everyone. No, we're still a Houston Dash team that has gone great the last 6 games, but still has flaws in the team. Still are developing. Still are making good habits on the ball and trying to make creative and explosive soccer. But it's still a team that still needs to work on, and it showed on the Utah game.
I agree. I think you make a lot of great points. I feel like, yeah, it's a little less of like, I don't think people can really look at this as hit the panic button, because you also have to consider that this team was not projected to make the playoffs whatsoever.
Yeah.
And we're at a position now where we can realistically, and yes, there are other things that are happening outside of this game that we'll talk about in a bit, but that do cause us to hit the panic button a little. But I think the game itself, and if you look at the performance, I don't think there's anything to worry about. I think it was just a matter of Fabrice making a couple of wrong tactical choices, and our players just not putting it in the back of the net, and that happens. This is football; it's bound to happen.
Yeah, I think it is. It's just football. It's very unpredictable and very merciless. Just because it could go, the results could go you one way for the long stretch, and when it really counts, it goes all against you. So it's very heartbreaking. It's very, I think that's why people love it. It's just very hard to predict and hard to go get everything by. But I think it is what it is. You all think you gotta do is move forward. You have 6 games left, 3 points away from the playoffs, and this is your time to know what can I do, what the team can do to go forward now. But sadly, we have another breaking announcement coming today before this week, tomorrow's game, is that Maggie Graham, Rookie of the Year nominated, has been uh, suffered an injury and will be out for the rest of the season, including the playoffs if the Dash makes it. So Diego, how I'm trying to write this question because at the end of the day, Maggie's a rookie. But how bad is this injury coming to at this point, the stage for the Dash, despite her being a rookie?
I mean, this is gonna be massive for the Dash. I think Maggie now is kind of having a similar season as Avery was last year, where it's kind of like she's been given a lot of responsibility within this team, and she's been able to step up into that role. However, I think, yes, there are going to be players that are kind of like going to balance us out, because if you want to think about it, we're losing Maggie, but we're getting Lisa, and we're getting so.
Berkeley,
I don't think
Larissa.
Larissa. Yeah, I think I struggle to like just hit the panic button because of my optimism, because I've seen the Dash play really well without Maggie, and have had really great strides without her on the field. But I think, yes, losing a player of her quality will always be a bad thing, and I mean, personally, it makes me really sad.
Yeah, I
But
think it is.
um, I mean, it's the cruelty of the game.
Yeah, I think it's just very, very hard to see how the team can move forward. I think uh, the only thing you can do is see what like replacement you have. Sophie Schmidt sadly has suffered another injury, so you are without her as well. So you're looking at just basically either put the Cam back in the sixth position that she naturally is, or you might do something like you did at the beginning of the season, have Sheehan play in the midfielder and have maybe Dujon, who has been great, maybe
Mm.
in that spot where Sheehan was. It is very hard to see how the dash reforms because it's very not saying that they don't have players to do it, they do, but I think the drop off is really uh, has gone down because now you have to move Sheehan, where she was very effective higher up at the pitch, to move her down back in the midfielder, which she has done great in the beginning of the season, but has lost her effectiveness as the season went on, and she found her new strife in the beginning. So you're trying to find that balance of is it to put the Gam in it or to put someone else in there and see how it goes. So it's very interesting what the lineup will be as we come on to close to kickoff and see how it goes. But I think it just shows how impactful Maggie has been since the beginning. I think in the beginning of the season we were kind of confused. I think as many people was her best position. She was playing as the eight, she was playing as a 10, she was playing in the wing, she was playing as left back, she was
She was
playing
yeah, she was
a
playing as the
striker.
left back.
So many things, but now she found herself in the sixth, the eighth that she was felt more comfortable in. She felt, you know, what she can, and so it's really interesting what Fabrice is doing. It's going to be. I think this hurts more since now that Sophie is out as well. So two crucial players in the midfielder are out. So I think it just shows that maybe the depth really showing is it's hard to say. Just really show its character, and it's like you don't want it to come out at this point of the season when you need the points, when you need the results, and especially going to playoffs if that's your goal this season. And that feels like it was the Dash's goal to go into playoffs by the run they're going. So it's really hard to see how the Dash can go move forward from here, and so it's very hard to see that going now. But I think it's very other than all the sad news that we've been through, but we have other great news as well. Very soon, either tonight or tomorrow, Diego is going to post up his deep cut of an Avery one-on-one interview. I know we were supposed to have it or this episode, but most likely we're going to post it tomorrow. Any sneak peeks or anything interesting that you had your conversation with Avery?
No, I really enjoyed talking with Avery. I thought she was a really great person to just I told this to Rudy. Great person to just chat with. It felt like I was just having a conversation with her. Um, you get to you'll get to learn a little bit about her time at UNC, a lot of just how she feels as like a player, how she's felt like within the team, and also just like we talked things women's soccer, and it was a really good conversation, and I'm really excited for you guys to listen about it.
Yeah, I think everyone is. I think if you're looking, see, I think Avery has continued her form, has continued her rise in the game with this Dash team. This game shows, this season has shows that I think you sometimes rookies have a good season, first season, and tail off in the second half. But no, Avery has continued to progress, continue to show that she is will be, is and will be the face either of women, the backline for the U.S. women's national team. So it should show, the resilience in her progression in this game. So kudos to her. And so hopefully we see that more with the Dash, and hopefully she helps the Dash to push on and move to the playoffs that's coming up. So we'll see how it goes from there. Now for tomorrow's game, I think we got off all the negativity. We took it all off. I think it was just very. I think we just had to unload on that because it was very, very a lot to take in about. Okay,
100%, a hundred
yeah,
percent.
I think other than the results, I think and the injuries and the departures and everything. I think going to tomorrow's game, uh, there's a lot more positives. Uh, for instance, like you said, Lisa Boateng got her first minutes. Looks like more involved with the team, so maybe she have a bigger role this game, or maybe she will come out earlier in the bench. Who knows? Malia Berkeley is on training with the Dash. Will she start? I know she's game ready fit because she has been in the season with North Carolina Courage. It just depends will she start or not in this Dash lineup. The only thing question in mind will be, she's not on the injury report. Is Larissa this past two games, she has been subbed off early in both games. So is it a fitness issue? Is it so now something else that we have no know of? But it's just I think it's just to see how she's continue to cooperate in this team. But I think overall, Diego, I just want to see how do you feel the Dash will face the Chicago Stars this tomorrow's
I
matchup?
think we're g- I think we're gonna see a more matured Dash team where the thing that I mentioned about that is kind of like we're gonna see them making a little bit better decisions. I think um, they're gonna play very similarly as Utah, and I think we're kind of like how you mentioned and how Fabrice mentioned it. We're gonna play very, very, very like a little sharper. I would say we're gonna be a little sharper. I think we're not gonna go 2 games in a row where we lose. So I think it's gonna be a pretty simple win for the Dash. I should at least. I don't see a world where it isn't.
Yeah, I think it should be an interesting game, especially uh, Chicago, 7 games unbeaten. So it's very, very shows only one win. All of them were draws. All of them were draws. So,
Hmm.
but I think the player to highlight is Lumila. Lumila has been very, very on fire the second half of the season. She has been a player that most teams are very hard to contain. Uh, so I think the key for this matchup is containing. Of course, all you can contain one person, but especially keep an eye on Ludmila and see how she's limiting her space in the box, limiting her effectiveness on the final third. Because I think if you give her that space and you give her that time to breathe and to execute her game plan, she will. I think she will get in anyone's face and score a goal. I think that's the problem I see, and I think that's something I worry. The defense was okay. I think it wasn't the best last game. I just wanted a maturity and to see if they could step up to the plate and progress more in this game. So hopefully they do, and they have a better result for tomorrow's game. I think it's just that. I think that's the only player I can think that can cause this team's many problems. But I think that will be it. And in the dash, if the dash wins, I think it was just open a lot more positively, despite going into the last 5 games, which are very hard to see who can how many points the dash can win because it's going to be neck and neck, not easy games to call for. But Diego, I just want to get your predictions on this. How you see this game turning out to be? You like I don't
I
know.
think we're gonna get a 2-0 win. I think it'll be a clean, cheeky little win.
Hmm.
Cheeky little win. What
So you
about you?
think
What's
you,
what's what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say other. So you think the loss will re-spark that drive then?
Oh, 100%. I would be very disappointed if there isn't a fire lit under this team. I think since the biggest thing was really getting those shots into the back of the net, I think that should be that's a fixable issue. I would say.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think it should be a fixed push. More players are involved now. New players are involved, so it might be a different type team. There might be different side. how they come out, how they perform. But it should be really good. It should be an interesting game. I'm not going to see. I do see a 2-1 just because of
Okay.
Lumila. No, Lumila is very dangerous.
Lumila's been so dangerous.
Yeah, and so her performance and her work rate on and off the ball has been ridiculous. I think Chicago has a real player on their hands, especially if Mallory Swanson comes back next season. Them two
Mm.
will be great side by side. Um, so I think that would be an interesting see how those two can get along. So I think right now, the Dash should be happy just facing Lumila, and hopefully we'll face when we face Chicago again. Will be next season with Mallory Swanson and hopefully a better equipped Dash team to handle those two up front. But that's going to be something for the next season. Hopefully, we just get the win, get the push. Uh, Racing Louisville lost Tuesday against to Seattle. Seattle Reigns. So it's very interesting how the table is still opening up despite uh, Dash losing to Utah. So the table is still in their favor. The results are
Mhm.
going in their favor. Now the Dash has to pull their results in. So that will be it for us. And Diego, you got any parting words before we leave?
No, thank you guys for tuning in for another late night. We appreciate everybody that is here to not just rep us, but rep the Dash and rep everybody that loves themselves in Houston soccer. Don't forget that Houston Dash is Houston soccer. So be sure to come out to the game, support the Dash, um,
Noche Latina.
because Noche Latina. That's true. We got to show up. We got to show up. But that's it for me. Have a good night. Tune into the Avery Patterson interview.
Yeah. So for all those, tomorrow, look into that preview, look and see how we can match up against this Chicago side and see how we can get the 3 points. So thank you for all for tuning in. We want to also thank for our sponsor, Ugly Guppy. Uh, we got soccer. I know uh, we are having a live.
I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I'm
Really,
missing it.
let me get this date right because I feel like I was been on and off of work. Live show event on the September 23rd at 6 p.m. We got soccer, so shout out to them as well. So it'll be on a Tuesday. On a Tuesday. Uh,
Club going up
on a
on a
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So on that on 6 p.m. So please come out, see, join us and see how we can see. Hopefully, we can talk more about Dash winning and then the Dynamo losing.
Don't let Hefe hear you, bro.
Yeah, and then we'll see how that goes. But and also we'd like to thank also Elote Bravos for it. But please always look out for us and biocitysoccer.net. Also in our social media platforms on Twitter, on X, not Twitter, X, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, Blue Sky. And I'm trying to think. No, that's it. That's
YouTube.
it. I say YouTube, man.
Oh, you
I'm
say
always
YouTube?
yeah,
Oh,
I'm always on the YouTube. I'm
you're
always
always
on
on
the
the
YouTube.
YouTube.
I'm always on the YouTube. So yeah, so it's please look out for that and see everything. And hopefully next Wednesday we will go back to our regular scheduling program.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we could see where the Dash go from here. So hopefully we get that win and see. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.